Shabbat Shalom Mishpaka. Just like I promised you, today I am going to continue on Shiri Hashiri. Here it is, Shiri Hashiri. That's where I'll be reading from. And I want you to join me. I said today I'm going to explain why it must be read in full, so that you can understand what you're doing and the importance of reading this for the sake of your soul. See, as the entire excuse me gamut of Talmudic and rabbinic literature leading to Shiri Hashiri makes clear, this highly emotional, seemingly sensuous song is an allegory. As such, excuse me, a literal translation would be misleading, even false. Do you hear that? A literal translation will be misleading, even false. When I tell you that the Bible that you are holding is not translated exactly the way you are seeing it in English, is not the way what it actually means in the original text. It's not exactly what it means in the original text. Now let me take for example, or it's written in Genesis. I've made a video on that in Genesis, and God said, "Let there be light." But or does not just mean light in literal translation. Now here we have hell, but the original word is Gehinnom, and that hell is not the literal translation of Gehinnom. Now you can see it. He said it will be false, even misleading. So if you know the truth will set you free. He said because it will not convey the meaning intended by King Solomon. You see, the composer. The Art Scroll translation follows the commentary of Rashi, and a full commentary may be found in Art Scroll Shiri Hashiri by Rabbi Mia Zolotris. Now for those that are reading books and you want more knowledge, look at more sources to go to, so that you can understand. Everyone will agree with me that Song of Solomon is in the Bible. Why is it there? So that you can understand the importance of every single book in the Torah that is placed there, and how it helps each aspect of your soul and spiritual elevation. Let's continue. The following introductory comments are adapted from Rashi's own introduction. Solomon foresaw through the Ruach HaKodesh, that's it in Hebrew, Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, that Yeshuru is destined to suffer a series of exiles and will lament nostalgically, recalling her former status as Elohim's chosen beloved. She will say, I shall return to my first husband, i.e. to Elohim, for it was better with me then than it is now. Hosea 2 verse 9. The children of Yeshua will recall his beneficence and the trespasses which they trespass, Rika, that's Leviticus 26 verse 40. And they will recall the goodness which he promised for the end of days. The prophets frequently liken the relationship between Elohim and Yeshua to that of a loving husband angered by his straying wife who betrayed him. Solomon composed Shiri Hashiri in form of that same allegory. It is a passionate dialogue between the husband, Elohim, who still loves his estranged wife, Yeshurun, and the wife, a veritable widow of a living husband, who longs for her husband and seeks to endear herself to him once more, as she recalls her youthful love for him and admits her guilt. Elohim too is afflicted by her afflictions, Yeshayahu chapter 63 from verse 9, and recalls the kindness of her youth, her beauty, and her skillful deeds, for which she loved her, Yeshurun also. He proclaimed that he has not afflicted her capriciously. Lamentations 3 verse 33. Nor is she cast away permanently, for she is still his wife, he her husband, and he will yet return to her. The custom of reciting Shiri Hashiri before Shabbat or during the Shabbat, if time did not permit it earlier, is based on the Kabbalistic teaching that the recitation at this time helps save one from the suffering of Gehinnom. Sidur Agos Habashim. The song that excels all songs, dedicated to Elohim, the Melech, to whom shalom belongs. Yeshua excites to Elohim. Communicate your innermost wisdom to me. Again, in loving closeness, for your friendship is dearer than all earthly delights. Like the saints of goodly oils is the spreading fame of your great days. Your very name is flowing oil, therefore have the nations loved you. 4. Upon perceiving a mere hint that you wish to draw me, we rushed with perfect faith after you into the wilderness. The Melech brought him into his cloud-pillared chamber. Wherever our travel, we shall always be glad and rejoice in your Torah. We will recall your love more than earthly delight. Unrestrainedly do they love you. Yeshua to the nations. Though I'm black with sin, I'm calmly with virtue. O nations who are destined to ascend to Jerusalem, though solid at the stains of Kedar, I will be immaculate as the draperies of him to whom shalom belongs. Do not view me with contempt, despite my swarthiness, for it is but the sun which has glowed upon me. The alien children of your mother were incensed with me, and they made me a keeper of the vineyards of deities. But the vineyard of my own true El I did not keep. Yeshua Elohim, tell me you whom my soul loves. Where will you grace your flock? Where will you rest them under the fiercest sun of Ashes exile? Why shall I be like one veiled in the morning among the flocks of your fellow shepherds? Elohim responds to Yeshua. If you know not where to graze, O fairest of nations, follow the footsteps of the sheep. Your forefathers who traced a straight, unswerving path after my Torah, then you can graze your tender cakes even among the dwellings of foreign shepherds. 9. With my mighty steeds to battle Pharaoh's riders, I reveal that you are my beloved. Your cheeks are lovely with rows of gems, your neck with necklaces, my gifts to you from the splitting sea. Now, do you remember Mishpaka when I say that the Bible is not complete? Now, can you see here? Can you see verse 11 and verse 10? Are you following? Can you see they put dot, dot, dot? It means that there are other words, but they cannot see it because it is lost. It was lost from ancient text. Now look at 11, dot, dot, dot. It shows that it's incomplete. They could not see it, can't be viewed anymore. It's been broken off, it's extinct. They couldn't translate that text. But in your own Bible, they don't do that. They make it seem as if it is complete. I said I will bring it to your attention when something like this occurs, so that you can understand what I'm trying to communicate to you. 11. By inducing Pharaoh to engage in pursuit to add circlets of gold to your spangles of silver, Yeshua to Elohim. While the Melech was yet a sign, and my malodorous deed gave forth his scent as my golden calf defied the covenant. But my beloved responded with a bundle of myrrh, the fragrant atonement of erecting a tabernacle where his presence would dwell amid Oliac steps. Like a cluster of henna in Engedi vineyards, has my beloved multiplied his forgiveness to me. He said, I forgave you, my friend. For you are lovely indeed, and lovely in reserve. The righteous among you are loyal as a dove. It is you who are lovely, my beloved, so pleasant that you pardon my sin, enabling our temple to make me ever fresh. The beams of our house are cedar, our panels are cypress. I am but a rose of Sharon, an ever fresh rose of the valleys, a lamb to Yeshurun. Like the rose maintaining its beauty among the thorns, so is my faithful beloved among the nations. Yeshua reminisces, like the fruitful, fragrant apple tree among the barren trees of the forest, so is my beloved among the deities. In his shade I delighted, and there sat, and the fruit of his Torah was sweet to my palate. He brought me to the chamber of Torah delight, and clustered my encampment about him in love. I said to him, sustain me in exile with dainty cakes, bread, fragrant apples about me to come from other portion for bereft of your presence. I am sick with love. With memories of his loving support on the desert, of his left hand under my head, of his right hand enveloping me. Yeshua to the nations. I adjure your nations who are destined to ascend to Jerusalem. For if you violate your oath, you become as defenseless as gazelles or hinds of the field. If you dare provoke Elohim to hate to disturb his love for me, why he still desires it. The voice of my beloved, behold, it came suddenly to redeem me, as if leaping over the mountains, skipping over hills. In its swiftness to redeem me, my beloved is like a gazelle or a young hart. I thought I'll be forever alone, but behold, he was standing behind a wall, observing through the windows, peering through the lattices. Yeshua reminisces. When he redeemed me from Mitzrayim, my beloved called and said to me, arise, my love, my fair one, and go forth. For the winter of bondage has passed, the deluge of suffering is over and gone. The righteous blossoms are seen in the land, the time of your song has arrived, and the voice of your guide is heard in the land. The fig tree has formed its first small figs, ready for ascent to the temple. The vines are in a blossom, their fragrance, declaring that they are ready for libation. Arise, my love, my fair one, and go forth. And the sea said to me, O my dove, trapped at the sea as if in the clefts of the rock, the concealment of the terrors. Show me your prayerful gaze. Let me hear your supplicating voice. Your voice is sweet and your countenance comely. Then he told me, seek for us the mystery and foxes, even the small foxes who spoiled Yeshua's vineyard, while our vineyard had just begun to blossom. My beloved is my nephew, all my needs, and I seek from him and none other. He graces me in rose-like bounty. Until my sin blows his friendship away and sears me like the midday sun, and his protection departs my sin caused him to turn away. I said to him, my beloved, you became like a gazelle or like a young hart under the ten mountains. Yeshua to the nations. As I lay on my bed in the night of my days of travel, I sought him whom my soul loves. I sought him but found him not, for he maintained his aloofness. I resolved to rise and then roam through the city in the streets and squares. I would seek through Moshe whom my soul loved. I sought him but I found him not. They found me Moshe and Akron, the watchmen patrolling the city. You have seen him whom my soul loves? What has he said? Scarcely had they departed from them when in the days of Yahushua I found him whom my soul loves. I grasped him, determined that my deeds would never again cause me to lose hold of him until I brought his presence to the tabernacle of my mother and to the chamber of the one who conceived me. 5. I adjure you, O nations, who are destined to ascend to Jerusalem, for if you violate your oath, you become as defenseless as gazelles or hinds of a field. If you dare provoke Elohim to hate me or disturb his love for me while he still desires it, you nations have asked, who is this ascending from the desert? This way secured, smoke like a palm-like pillars of smoke, burning fragrant myrrh and frankincense of all perfumous powders. Behold, the resting place of him to whom shalom belongs, with 60 mirrors of Yeshua's might encircling it. All of them gripping the sword of tradition, skilled in the battle of Torah, each with his sword, ready at his side, lest he succumb in the nights of exile. A tabernacle for his presence as the Melech to whom shalom belongs, made of the wood of Lebanon. Its pillars made of silver, its resting place was gold, its suspended curtain was purple wood, its midst was decked with implements loved by the daughters of Jerusalem. Go forth and gaze, O daughters, distinguished by loyalty to Elohim upon the king Melech to whom shalom belongs. Adorned with the crown this nation made for him on the day his law was given, and he became one with Yeshurun, and on the day his heart was gladdened by his tabernacle's consecration. Elohim to Yeshurun. Behold, you're lovely, my friend. Behold, you're lovely. Your very appearance radiates, dove like constancy. The most common sons within your encampments are like as dearly beloved as the children of Yaakov, and a good like procession descending the slopes of Mount Gilead. Accountable indeed, your fiercest warriors, like a well-numbered flock, come up from the washing of them, unblemished, with no miscarriage of action of them. Now the scarlet thread grown to a rack of safety, the sincerity of your lips, and your word is unfeigned, as mean as the pomegranate seeds, and the merit of your unworthy is within your mother's veil. As stately as the tower of David at the sight of your Sanhedrin, built as a model to emulate with 1,000 shields of Torah armor hung about it. All the disciple-filled quavers of the mighty. Moshe and Akron, your twin sustainers, are like Tophon, twins of the Gazelle, who gaze their sheep in roads like bounty, until my sunny benevolence was withdrawn from Shiloh, and the protective shadows were dispersed by your sin. I'll go to Mount Moriah and the hill of frankincense, where you be completely fair, my beloved, and no blemish should be in you. With me will you be exiled from the temple, or bride with me from the temple until you return, and then to contemplate the fruits of your faith from its earliest beginnings, from your first arrival at the summits of Sinai of Hermon, the lengths of mighty Scion and Og, as impregnable as dens of lions and as mountains of leopards. You captured my heart, O my sister, O bride, you captured my heart. We were one of your virtues, we were one of these precepts that adorn you like beds of a necklace resplendent. How fair was your love in so many settings, my sister, O bride, O superior is your love to wine, and your spreading fame to all perfumes. The sweetness of Torah drops from your lips like honey and milk, it lies under your tongue. Your very garments are scented with precious like the scent of Lebanon, as chaste as a garden locked, my sister, O bride, or spring locked up, or fountain sealed. Your least gifted ones are a pomegranate orchard with luscious fruits, henna with nard and saffron, calamus and cinnamon, with all trees of frankincense, myrrh and aloes, with all the chief spices. Purified in the garden spring well of waters alive and flowing clean from Lebanon. Away from the north and come from the south like the winds, let my exiles return to my garden, let their fragrant goodness flow in Jerusalem. Yeshua to Elohim, let my beloved come to his garden and enjoy his precious purple. Elohim responds to Yeshua, to your tabernacle dedication, my sister, O bride. I came as if to my garden, I gathered my myrrh with my spice from your princely incense. I accepted your unbidden as well as your bidden offerings to me. I drank your libations, purest milk. Is my beloved priest, drink and become Elohim intoxicated, O friends. Yeshua reminisces regretfully. I let my devotion slumber, but the Elohim of my heart was awake. A sound, my beloved knocks. He said, open your heart to me, my sister, my love, my dove, my perfection. Admit me, my head is filled with you like memories of Abram. Spoil me, and I bear collections of punishing rains in exile nights. And I responded, I have doffed my robe of devotion, how can I don it? I have washed my feet that trod your path, how can I soil them? In anger at my recalcitrance, my beloved sent forth. He turned from the battle in wrath. My intestines shone with longing for him. I arose to open for my beloved, and my hands dripped more of repentant devotion to Torah and Elohim, and my fingers flew with more to remove the traces of my foolish rebuke from the handles of the law. I opened for my beloved, but alas, my beloved had turned his back on my plea and was gone. My soul departed at his decree. I sought his closeness but could not find it. I beseeched him, but he would not answer. They found me enemy watchmen patrolling the city. They struck me, they blooded me, wreaking Elohim's revenge on me. They stripped my mantle of holiness from me, the angelic watchmen of the wall. Yeshua to the nations. I adjure your nations who are destined to ascend to Jerusalem. When you see my beloved on the future day of judgment, won't you tell him that I bought all travels of love for him? The nations asked Yeshua, with what does your beloved El excel all others that suffer for his name? O fairest of nations, with what does your beloved El excel all others that dead so jar us? Yeshua responds, my beloved is pure and purified sin, and rather with vengeance to punish betrayers, surrounded with mirror Mirakim. His opening words were finest gold, his crowns hold mounts of statues written in raven black flame. Like the gaze of doves toward their coits, his eyes are filled on the waters of Torah, bathing all things in clarity established upon creation's fullness. Like a bird of spices are his words of cider, like towers of perfume his comforting words from the tabernacle are roses dripping flowing more. The tablet is and work are desirable even above even rows of gold. They are studded with commandments, precious as gems, the Torah's innards are sparkling as ivory, intricately overlaid with precious stone. The Torah's columns are marble set in context of ironate gold. Its contemplation flowers like Lebanon, it is study as cedars. The words of his palate are sweet, and he is all delight. This is my beloved, and this is my friend, O nations who are destined to ascend to Jerusalem. Am I? Okay. The nations derisively to Yasharol. We are so beloved gone no forsaken forest among women. We are so beloved turn to rejoin you. Let us seek him with you and build his temple with you. Yasharol responds, my beloved has descended to his temple garden. To his incense altar, yet he still graces my burden, remaining in gardens of exile to gather the roseate fragrance of the words of Torah. I alone am my beloved, and my beloved is mine. He who graces a shape in rose like pastures, Elohim to Yasharol. You are beautiful, my love, when your deeds are pleasing as comely now as once you were in Jerusalem of old. Host of Melachim standing all of you. Turn your pleading eyes from me, lest I be tempted to bestow upon you holiness more than you can bear. But with all your flaws, your most common sons are as dearly beloved as the children of Yaakov in a good-like procession, descending the slopes of Mount Gilead. Your mighty leaders are perfect as a flock of ewes come up from the washing, all of them unblemished, with no miscarriage of action in them. As many as the pomegranate seed are the merits of your warriors within your mothers. There, the queenly offspring of Avram are 60, compared to whom the 80 Noachites in all the countries, countless nations are like mere concubines. Unique is she, my constant dove, my perfect one, unique is she. These nations striving for the truth. Pure is she to Yaakov who begot her. Nations saw her and acclaimed her, queens and concubines, and they praised her. Who is this that gazes down from atop the temple mount, brightening like the dawn? Beautiful as the moon, brilliant as the sun, awesome as the bannered host of kings. I descended upon the deceptively simple holiness of the second temple to see your moisture-laden dates in the valleys. Had your Torah scholars budded on the vine? Had your merit-laden righteous flowered like the pomegranates filled with seeds? Yeshua responds regretfully, alas, I knew not how to guard myself from sin. My own devices harnessed me, like chariots subject to a foreign nation's mercies. The nations have said to me, turn away from Elohim of a nation whose faith in him is perfect. Turn away, and we shall choose nobility from you. But I replied to them, what can you bestow upon a nation wholly faith to him, commensurate even with the desert comes as encycling? The nations to Yasharol, your footsteps are so lovely when shod in pilgrim sandals, O daughter of nobles. The rounded shafts to your libations, abyss like trenches and work of the master craftsman. At Earth's very center, your Sanhedrin site is an ivory basin of ceaseless flowing tension, your national center an indispensable heap of nourishing knowledge hitched about with roses. Your twins sustain as the tablets of the law, like two fawns twins of the gazelle. Your altar and temple erect and stately as an ivory tower. Your wise men are flowed with springs of complex wisdom. Your ivory tower, your wise men are flowed with springs of complex wisdom at the gate of the main people's city. Your face like a Lebanese tower looks to your future boundary as far as Damascus. The goodly name on your head is as mighty as Carmel. Your crowning braid is real purple. Your king is bound in Nazaric traces. How beautiful and pleasant are you, befitting the pleasures of spiritual life. Such is your stature, likened to a towering palm tree. From your teachers flow sustenance like wine-filled clusters. Elohim to your shrine in exile. I boast on high your deeds caused me to ascend your palm tree. I grasped onto your branches. I beg now your teachers that they may remain like clusters of grapes, from which flows strength to your weakest ones, and the fragrance of your face like apples. And may your utterance be like finest wine. Yeshua interjects. I shall heed your plea to uphold my faith before my beloved, in love so upright and honest that my slumbering fathers move their lips in approval. I say to the nations, I am my beloved, and ye long to my perfection. Come, my beloved, let us go to the field to your children serving in want. There let us lodge with Esau's children who are Baruch with plenty years till the night. Let us wake at dawn in vineyards of prayer and study. Let us see if students of wreaths have budded, if students of oral law have blossomed, if ripened scholars have bloomed. There I will display my finest products to you. All my baskets, good and bad, emit a fragrance. All at our doors have the precious fruits of comely deeds. Those the scribes have newly ordained, and your Torah's timeless wisdom for you. Beloved, has my heart told them. If only despite my wrongs you could comfort me as yourself did, like a brother nurtured at the bosom of his mother. If in the streets I found your prophets, I will kiss you and embrace you through them, nor could anyone despise me for it. I will lead you, I will bring you to my mother's temple, for you are to teach me, as you did in Moshe's tent, to drink out, give you spice libations, wines like pomegranate nectar. Yeshua to the nation. That's why my lament in exile is left hand supports my head, its right hand embraces me in support. I adjure you all nations that are destined to ascend to Jerusalem, for if you violate your oath, you will become defenseless if you dare provoke Elohim. To hate me, you disturb his love for me, why he still desires it. Elohim and the heavenly tribunal. How worthy is she who rises from the desert, bearing Torah and his presence, clinging to her beloved. Yeshua interjects, honor sign are suspended above me. There I arose to your love. There was your people born, a mother to other nations. There she endured the travel of her birth. For the sake of my love, place me like a seal on your heart, like a seal to dedicate your strength for me. For strong to death is my love. Though their zeal for vengeance is hard at grave, it flashes and flashes of fire from the flame of Elohim. Elohim replies to Yeshua, many waters of hidden tribulation cannot extinguish the fire of this love, nor rivers of royal seduction or touch or wash it away. Were any man to offer all the treasure of his home to entice you away from your love, they will scorn him to extreme. The Shamayim tribunal reflects. Yeshua desires to cleave to us a smaller, humble one, but time of spiritual maturity has not come. What shall we do for our cleaving one on the day the nations plot against her? If our faith and belief are strong as a wall, withstanding incursions from without, we shall become a fortress and beauty, building her city and holy temple. But if she wavers like a door succumbing to every alien knock, with fragile cedar panels shall we then enclose her. Yeshua replies proudly and reminisces, my faith is firm as a wall, and my nourishing synagogues and steady halls are strong as towers. Then having said so, I became in his eyes like a bride found perfect. Yeshua was vineyard of him to whom shalom belongs in populous Jerusalem. He gave his vineyard to harsh coral guardians. Each one came to extort his fruit, even 1,000 silver pieces. Elohim to the nations on the day of judgment. The vineyard is mine. Your iniquities are before me. The nations replied to Elohim, 1,000 silver pieces are yours, you to whom shalom belongs, and 200 more. To the sages who gathered the fruit of Torah from our designs. Elohim to Yeshua. O my beloved, dwelling in far-flung gardens, your fellows, the Melachim, hearken to your voice of Torah and prayer. Let me hear it that they may then sanctify me. Yeshua to Elohim. Flee, my beloved, from our common exile and be like a gazelle or young hart in your sweetness to redeem, and rest your presence among us on the fragrant memorial site of your temple. Now I have to read this, even though I read it in the last video, but it comes together with a Song of Songs. Master of all worlds, may be your will, Adonai Elohim and Elohim of my forefathers, that in the merit of Song of Songs, which I have read and studied, which is Holy of Holies, in the merit of his verses, in the merit of his words, in the merit of his letters, in the merit of his vowels, in the merit of his cancellation, in the merit of his holy, pure, awesome names, combinations, allusions, or secrets that are derived from it, that this hour be an hour of compassion, an hour of attention, an hour of hearkening, that we may call to you, and that you may answer us, and that we may entreat you, and that you may allow yourself to be prevailed upon by us. May the recitation and study of Song of Songs arise before you as if we have grasped all the wondrous and awesome secrets that are sealed into it. with all its conditions, and may we be worthy of the place from here the spirits and souls are hewn. As if we have done all that is required of us to accomplish, whether in this transmigration or in another transmigration, and may we be among those who rise and merit the world to come, along with other righteous and pious ones. May you fulfill all the requests of our hearts for goodness. May you be with our hearts and the words of our mouth at the time of our thoughts, and with our hands at the time of our actions. May you send Baraka, success, and relief to all our handiwork. From the dust, and stand us erect. From the trash heap of our poverty, raise us, and retain your presence, your holy city, speedily in our days. Amen.